Sam was a 12-year-old boy who lived in a small and peaceful neighborhood. Every weekday he walked to the bus stop with his school bag hanging from one shoulder. The afternoons were always warm, and the long walk after school made him feel tired. Still, he enjoyed watching people, listening to the sounds of the street, and feeling the light breeze on his face as he waited for the bus. Sam was the kind of boy who noticed small things that others often ignored. He liked to observe how the clouds moved across the wide sky and how birds sat on overhead wires. He liked how the sunlight painted bright shapes on the ground. He liked how children laughed while running home after school. These small details made him feel calm, even on busy days. On this day, the bus arrived with its usual soft roar. Sam stepped inside and could feel the warmth still trapped in the vehicle from earlier passengers. The air smelled faintly of old seats and a mix of perfumes. The bus was crowded because many people were returning home from work or school. Sam looked around, hoping to find a free seat. He had been standing in his classroom for a presentation that day, and his legs were already a little sore. He slowly moved down the narrow aisle, trying not to bump into anyone. The bus shook slightly as it pulled back onto the road. Sam finally spotted an empty seat near the middle of the bus. He felt a small wave of relief and quickly slid into it. The seat was soft but a little worn from years of use. He placed his bag on his lap and looked out of the window as the bus rolled forward. The world outside passed by in a colorful stream. People walked on sidewalks. Cars moved beside the bus. Shops lined the street with bright signs. Everything looked busy, but Sam liked watching it all quietly. After a minute or two, he noticed someone stepping onto the bus at the next stop. It was an elderly lady with gentle gray hair tied in a low bun. She wore a simple long dress and carried a small purse that she held carefully against her body. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for the metal rail near the door. Her movements were slow and careful. The bus started moving again, and she struggled to keep her balance for a moment. Sam felt a small pinch in his heart. He knew she would need a seat, and he also knew there were no empty spots left. Several adults sat comfortably reading newspapers or looking at their phones, and a few students sat with bags spread across their laps. No one seemed to look up at the elderly lady. She stood quietly, trying to steady herself as the bus rolled forward and shook gently over small bumps in the road. Sam knew right away what he needed to do. He stood up without hesitation, lifted his bag and gave her a friendly smile. The lady looked surprised when Sam spoke to her and told her she could take his seat. For a second she hesitated as if unsure. Then her face softened with gratitude. She thanked him in a soft voice and slowly lowered herself into the seat. Her hands rested on her purse and she gave Sam another warm smile. Sam now stood in the aisle holding the overhead rail. The bus shook slightly, but he kept his balance easily. He was used to standing on crowded buses. Even though his legs still hurt a little from the school day, he felt good about his choice. There was something satisfying about helping someone who truly needed it. He could feel a small sense of pride warming his chest. The other passengers continued with their own thoughts. A man in a blue suit tapped quickly on his phone. A student listened to music with his eyes closed. A mother held a baby who was sleeping comfortably against her shoulder. None of them seemed to notice the exchange between Sam and the elderly lady. Yet Sam did not mind. He did not help her to be praised. He helped her because he felt it was the right thing to do. The bus moved through traffic, stopping at lights and rolling over smooth asphalt. Sam swayed gently with each turn, holding the rail with both hands now. The elderly lady sat quietly in the seat he had given up. She looked straight ahead at first. Then, slowly, she turned her head slightly to look at Sam. Her eyes were kind and full of calm wisdom. Sam glanced back at her and she smiled once again. It was not a short smile. It was warm and thoughtful. It almost felt as if she was studying him kindly. Sam felt a little shy and looked away for a moment, pretending to read the signs above the windows. Minutes passed and the bus grew quieter as some passengers stepped off at different stops. Still, the elderly lady remained in her seat. Sam noticed that she kept her hands firmly placed over her purse, almost as if she was protecting something inside. There was something gentle and calm about her presence. She did not speak. She simply sat there, giving small glances toward Sam from time to time. Sam wondered if she wanted to say something. Maybe she wanted to thank him again. Maybe she wanted to talk about her day or share a memory. Elderly people often had interesting stories. Sam sometimes talked to older neighbors in his area and enjoyed listening to them. They always spoke about life in a patient and thoughtful way. But the lady on the bus remained silent. Her quietness made Sam curious, but he did not want to bother her. The bus rolled smoothly toward the next stop. Outside, a group of schoolchildren crossed the street, laughing and waving to someone behind them. A dog barked near a row of shops. A shopkeeper pulled down a metal shutter halfway. The warm afternoon slowly shifted toward a cooler early evening. The sky turned slightly golden. Sam stood there, lost in these small scenes, feeling the gentle rhythm of the bus. He kept thinking about the elderly lady and her kind glances. There was something unusual about the way she looked at him, as if she knew something he did not, as if she had something on her mind, as if she had been waiting for a moment like this. Sam did not know why he felt this way, but the thought stayed with him. He wondered about her life. Did she live alone? Did she have family waiting for her? Was she returning from a visit or heading to a place she went every day? Her calm expression made him think she had lived through many years of experiences, both happy and sad. Sam felt respect for her quietly. He admired people who carried themselves with gentle strength. The bus slowed as it approached another stop. The elderly lady reached for the rail in front of her and prepared to stand. Her movements were steady but slow. Sam watched her carefully, ready to help if she needed support. She rose from her seat and adjusted the strap of her purse. She turned to Sam with that same thoughtful expression on her face. She leaned slightly toward him, and for a brief moment he thought she might say something. Instead, she reached into her purse. Sam watched the elderly lady as she gently reached into her small purse. Her movements were slow but very sure, as if she knew exactly what she was looking for inside it. The purse itself was simple and a little worn around the edges. It looked like she had carried it for many years. She placed one hand inside and pressed her fingers against the items within, searching with care. Her face held a calm expression, but her eyes had a certain brightness that made Sam pay closer attention. She did not seem rushed at all, even though the bus was slowing down for her stop. Sam held the overhead rail and leaned a little forward, not wanting to miss anything she might say. His heart beat a little faster because he felt she had something important to share. The inside of the bus hummed with the soft sound of the engine, and a few passengers shifted in their seats. The driver focused on the road ahead, waiting for the bus to stop completely. Sam could feel the gentle movement of the bus under his feet. At last, the elderly lady pulled out a small folded piece of paper. It was neatly creased, as if she had prepared it earlier with care. She held the note in both hands for a moment, pressing it between her palms as though she was giving it one final thought. Then she looked up at Sam. Her warm smile returned, and this time it carried something deeper. It was not just a polite smile. It was a smile full of understanding, comfort, and gratitude. Sam felt a little shy but also curious. He wondered if she was going to hand him the note. He wondered what it might contain. Perhaps it was a thank you message. Perhaps it was something else, something he could not imagine yet. Sam had never received a note from a stranger before. It made him feel nervous in a good way, like he was about to experience something meaningful. The bus made a gentle stop. The doors opened with a soft sound, letting in cooler evening air from outside. The elderly lady stepped back slightly to keep her balance. She still held the folded note in her hands. She turned her body toward Sam and held out the paper. Sam reached out carefully and took it from her with both hands. The paper felt light but important. The lady gave him a small nod, almost like a silent message that he would understand soon. She spoke in a soft voice that carried a calm strength. She thanked him again for giving her his seat. Her voice sounded gentle, steady, and full of kindness. She told him that acts of goodness always travel further than people realize. Sam listened quietly, feeling the weight of her words settle in his heart. She did not speak for long. She only said enough for Sam to feel her gratitude clearly. Then she stepped toward the bus doors. Her steps were slow but steady, her purse held close to her body. Before she exited, she looked back at Sam one last time and gave him a smile that seemed to hold 1,000 untold stories. The bus doors closed behind her and she slowly walked toward the sidewalk. The cool wind played with the edge of her dress as she disappeared from view. Sam looked down at the note still clutched in his hand. He wanted to open it right away, but something inside him told him to wait. He felt he should sit down first before reading it. The bus had fewer passengers now, and one seat near the window was free. Sam walked toward it and sat down, placing his school bag beside him. He held the note gently between his fingers, feeling the smooth edges of the folded paper. The bus began moving again. Sam kept the note in his lap for a moment. He stared at it, taking in the simple shape of the folded paper. It looked ordinary from the outside, but he knew something meaningful waited inside. He wondered what could be written there. Was it a thank you message? Was it a story? Was it advice? The curiosity grew stronger with every passing second. As the bus rolled forward, Sam finally unfolded the note. He opened it slowly, almost as if he wanted to make the moment last longer. The paper opened smoothly, and he could see neat handwriting written across it. The words seemed calm and thoughtful. Sam leaned closer so he could read every part clearly. The note described a memory from the elderly lady's younger years. She wrote about a time when she had once stood on a bus, just like she did today. She had been tired and unsure during that time in her life. A young person had given up their seat for her back then, and she had felt seen and respected. That small gesture had lifted her spirits in a difficult moment. It had reminded her that kindness still existed in the world even when life felt heavy. She explained that Sam's simple act reminded her of that long-ago moment. She wrote that kindness can repeat itself across generations when people choose to be thoughtful. Sam read the note slowly, letting each sentence sink into his mind. He felt something warm inside his chest. It felt like the elderly lady had shared a piece of her past with him, something gentle and precious. She had trusted him with the memory. Her words felt soft but powerful. She wrote that his good heart would lead him to a bright future if he continued to treat people with the same kindness. He showed her today. Sam read the message again. He wanted to make sure he understood everything she had written. He imagined the lady as a young woman long ago, standing in a crowded bus, feeling tired just as she had looked today. He imagined someone offering her a seat with the same warmth he had shown her now. It made him realize how acts of goodness move through time, touching one person after another. The bus moved past many buildings as Sam kept reading the note. The world outside continued its busy movement, but Sam did not notice any of it. He was lost in the message. It felt like he was holding more than just paper. He was holding a memory, a feeling, and a lesson all at once. He folded the note back carefully and held it against his chest for a moment. His heart felt lighter and fuller at the same time. He had not expected that his simple action would touch someone's life. He had only wanted to help someone in need. But now he understood that kindness could create ripples that reached further than he could see. Sam looked at the empty seat where the elderly lady had sat. He pictured her gentle smile and the calm way she had looked at him. He wondered where she was going and if she felt happy after giving him the note. He hoped she felt appreciated and understood. He hoped she knew that her words had already changed his day in a deep way. The bus continued moving towards Sam's neighborhood, and the sky outside turned deeper shades of gold. Sam placed the note inside his bag so it would stay safe. He wanted to keep it forever. He felt a strong desire to do more good in the world, not for rewards but because it felt right. The elderly lady had reminded him that kindness has a power that travels far. Sam sat quietly, watching the soft light outside, holding on to the lesson he had just received. Sam sat quietly on the bus with the folded note resting safely inside his bag. The words of the elderly lady continued to echo in his mind. The more he thought about them, the more his curiosity grew. He felt that there was something deeper behind her message. It was not just a simple thank you. It felt like she wanted him to learn something important, something that would guide him in the future. Sam could not explain why he felt this way, but the feeling stayed with him. The bus moved gently across the road. The afternoon sunlight streamed in through the windows, creating soft patterns on the seats. The engine hummed steadily. A few new passengers stepped on, while others stepped off. Sam felt as though he was sitting in a world of his own. The movement of the bus became a soft rhythm beneath him as he replayed the message in his mind again and again. He finally took the note out of his bag and unfolded it once more. He read each sentence carefully, allowing the words to sink deeper into his heart. The elderly lady had written about kindness that traveled through time. She had written about how small actions could change a person's day. She had written about the moment long ago when someone had offered her a seat during her difficult time, and how that simple gesture had lifted her spirit. She had written that Sam had reminded her of that kindness. She had written that he possessed a rare gentleness that the world needed. Sam read the note slowly, tracing each word with his eyes. He felt a warm pressure in his chest. It was a good feeling but also a little overwhelming. He did not expect that giving a seat would make someone feel this deeply. He wondered about the person who had given the elderly lady a seat many years ago. Did that person know how much it had mattered? Did they understand that their action would stay in someone's heart for so long? Sam felt amazed at the thought. He folded the note again with great care. He placed it on his lap and looked out of the window. The bus passed a small park where children were playing on swings. Their laughter floated into the air like gentle bells. Sam smiled as he watched them. He felt that the world was full of small moments that carried meaning, moments that people often overlooked. He wondered how many others around him had stories like the elderly lady. Perhaps everyone carried memories that shaped them. Perhaps everyone had received kindness at some point in their life. As the bus continued its path, Sam noticed the driver glancing at him through the mirror. The driver was a middle-aged man with kind eyes and a calm face. Sam wondered if the driver knew the elderly lady. She had mentioned that she spoke to him before leaving. Sam felt a small spark of curiosity about that. Why had she spoken to the driver? What had she said? The thought lingered in his mind, but he did not feel ready to ask yet. The bus slowed again for another stop. A few people stepped on, but Sam barely noticed. He was deep in thought. The elderly lady's gentle smile kept appearing in his mind. He remembered how she had looked at him before handing him the note. Her eyes had held a quiet message, one that felt bigger than simple gratitude. Sam felt as though she had seen something in him, something he had not yet seen in himself. He wondered about her life. He wondered where she lived, what her family was like, and whether she lived alone. He imagined her sitting in a small, cozy house, perhaps with a comfortable chair by a window. He imagined her reading books or writing memories in a notebook. He imagined her making tea in the morning and watching the sunrise. He imagined her walking slowly to the bus stop each day, carrying her small purse. Sam hoped that she was happy and surrounded by people who cared for her. A soft voice broke Sam's thoughts. It was the bus driver. He was calling Sam toward the front of the bus. Sam blinked in surprise and looked around to make sure the driver was speaking to him. When the driver nodded, Sam stood up and walked carefully down the aisle. He held the note in his hand, unsure of what the driver wanted. The driver gave him a gentle smile. His eyes were warm and calm, like someone who had seen many years of stories pass through the bus doors. He asked Sam if he was the boy who had given his seat to the elderly lady earlier. Sam nodded and felt his cheeks warm slightly. The driver reached for something near his seat and pulled out a small card. He held it out to Sam. Sam looked at the card with confusion. It was a bus pass card that allowed free rides for an entire month. Sam stared at it in surprise. The driver explained that the elderly lady had purchased the card before leaving the bus. She had asked him to give it to the boy who had shown her kindness. She did not want to give it to him directly because she believed that surprises made kind moments even more memorable. Sam held the card between his fingers, feeling the smooth surface. His heart thumped against his chest. He did not know what to say. The driver placed a gentle hand on Sam's shoulder and told him that kind people always attract kindness in return. Sam whispered a small thank you and stared at the card again. He could hardly believe that the lady had done this for him. It felt unreal but incredibly heartwarming. The driver returned his attention to the road, and Sam made his way back to his seat. He placed the card in his bag next to the folded note. For a moment he sat still, letting the surprise settle in his mind. He took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. The elderly lady's kindness felt like a warm glow that wrapped around him. He had not expected anything in return for offering his seat. He had only wanted to help someone who needed it. Yet now he had received not one but 2 acts of kindness from her. First the heartfelt note, and now the bus pass. Sam felt a strong emotion rise inside him. It was a mix of gratitude, amazement, and something deeper he could not fully name. He felt inspired. He felt changed. He felt like he wanted to be the kind of person who spread goodness wherever he went, just as the elderly lady had encouraged him to do. He leaned back in his seat and watched the world outside the window. The evening light grew softer, turning the sky into a gentle blend of orange and pink. Cars passed by in steady lines. People walked along the sidewalks carrying bags or talking with friends. Life moved forward in its quiet rhythm. Sam reached into his bag and touched the note again. The paper felt warm, as if the lady's kindness still lingered in it. He closed his eyes briefly and decided that he would keep this note for a very long time. It was more than just words. It was a memory, a reminder, and a guiding light. As the bus approached his stop, Sam stood up and prepared to step off. He felt different from when he had first boarded the bus. He felt stronger, wiser, and more aware of the quiet kindness that lived in the world. He stepped off the bus with a small smile on his face. He walked home with steady steps, carrying the lesson he had learned through a simple note that had changed everything for him. Sam walked home from the bus stop with steady steps, still thinking about the elderly lady and the surprises she had left for him. The cool evening breeze brushed against his face as he crossed the small street that led to his neighborhood. His mind felt full, like he was holding several warm thoughts at the same time. The folded note rested safely inside his bag, next to the bus pass card she had arranged for him. The more he thought about it, the more amazed he felt. Her kindness seemed to follow him even as he walked. His neighborhood was calm and familiar. Small houses lined both sides of the street. A few children played outside, kicking a soft ball in the yard. A man watered plants in front of his home. A woman stood by her gate, chatting with a neighbor. Sam waved politely to them, though his thoughts were still far away. He reached his house and stepped inside. His mother called out a warm greeting from the kitchen. Dinner was cooking, and the smell filled the air, making Sam's stomach growl gently. He replied to her with a smile and went straight to his room. He placed his school bag on the bed and took out the note. He unfolded it carefully, treating it like something precious. He read the words again and felt the same warm feeling he had felt on the bus. Every sentence seemed to brighten his heart. The message carried a softness that made him feel seen and understood. The lady had written with such care. Her words felt like a gentle hand resting on his shoulder, guiding him forward. Sam sat down at his desk and placed the note flat on the surface. He looked at each line, remembering how she had smiled when she handed it to him. Her eyes had held a deep kind of wisdom. He wondered again about the person who had shown her kindness long ago. He imagined that person as someone gentle, someone who had made a simple choice but did not realize how much it mattered. Sam thought about how actions could carry forward in ways that people might never expect. One person helped her. She remembered that help for years. Then she passed that kindness to him. It felt like a long chain made of small moments, a chain that connected people who had never met each other. Sam felt honored to be part of such a chain. It made him think about the kind of person he wanted to become. He knew he wanted to be the kind of person who made life easier for others. He wanted to make people smile the way she had smiled at him. He gently folded the note again and placed it back in his bag. Then he took out the bus pass card and looked at it. It felt new and smooth in his hands. The driver had told him that the lady had bought it especially for him. She had thought about him even after leaving the bus. This surprised him in a new way. Buying the card must have taken a little time, and she had gone out of her way to do something nice for him. It showed that she really valued what he had done. It made Sam feel deeply grateful. Later that night after dinner, Sam sat in the living room thinking about everything again. His mother asked if something was on his mind. Sam told her about the elderly lady on the bus. He explained how he gave her a seat. He explained how she had smiled at him. Then he told her about the handwritten note and the bus pass card. His mother listened carefully with a warm expression. When he finished, she placed a hand on his head and told him she was proud of him. She said that kindness is like a seed that grows into something beautiful. Sam smiled softly. Her words made him feel even more proud. That night when Sam lay in bed, he stared at the ceiling. The house around him was quiet. His thoughts drifted back to the moment he had first stood up to offer his seat. He realized that he had not even thought twice about it. The action had come naturally to him. Now he understood that sometimes the smallest actions could lead to the most meaningful moments. The thought made him feel calm and hopeful. The next morning, Sam woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. He got ready for school, packed his things, and placed the note inside his bag again. He felt that having it with him would make his day brighter. When he left the house, the sky was clear and fresh. He walked to the bus stop with a steady pace. The memories of the previous day followed him like a gentle companion. When the bus arrived, Sam stepped inside and greeted the driver. The driver smiled warmly and asked Sam if he was feeling better today. Sam nodded. He felt more than better. He felt stronger. He looked around the bus and noticed that it was not as crowded as the day before. Still, he made a small decision. He would stay aware of the people around him. He would be ready to help if anyone needed it. He would carry forward the chain of kindness during the ride to school. Sam kept thinking about the message the lady had left in her note. Her words about how kindness could shape the future stayed with him. She had written that the world needed more gentle people. She had written that he had the heart to make a difference. Those words felt like a special kind of encouragement. At school, Sam felt more focused. His teachers noticed he was paying closer attention. His friends noticed that he seemed more thoughtful. During lunch, Sam saw another student sitting alone and looking a little confused. Without hesitation, Sam asked him if he wanted to join their group. The student's face brightened with relief. Sam felt a warm feeling inside again. It felt similar to the feeling he had when helping the elderly lady. He realized that kindness did not need to be planned. It could simply appear whenever the chance arrived. After school, Sam took the bus home again. This time he used the bus pass card the lady had given him. Holding it in his hand reminded him of her gentle eyes and steady smile. He wondered again what she was doing at that moment. He imagined her sitting in her home with a cup of tea, feeling peaceful. He hoped she knew how much her note meant to him. He hoped she knew that her kindness had reached his heart and made his world brighter. During the ride, Sam opened his bag again and looked at the folded note. He did not open it this time. He just held it lightly between his fingers. It felt like holding a quiet reminder that goodness was always worth choosing. A reminder that people notice kindness even when no one speaks about it. A reminder that one act could create many more. The bus rolled through familiar streets until it reached Sam's stop. He stepped off and walked home with his thoughts full of calm and hope. He knew that the message in the lady's note had changed his day and had also changed something inside him. It had opened his eyes to a simple truth. Kindness had a power that reached far beyond the moment it was given. It could inspire, it could heal, it could travel from one person to another. Sam walked the final steps to his home, feeling light and hopeful, carrying the message that had already begun to change his heart. The next morning began with soft sunlight entering Sam's room through the small window near his bed. Sam woke up feeling calm and full of hope. The memories of the elderly lady's kindness stayed in his heart like a soft, warm glow. Every time he remembered her gentle smile or the note she had written, he felt a strong sense of peace. It was as if her message had planted a quiet strength inside him, a strength that reminded him to stay kind, patient, and thoughtful in everything he did. Sam got ready for school, brushed his hair neatly, and packed his bag with extra care. He made sure the folded note was tucked safely inside the front pocket. He liked keeping it close. It made him feel as if the lady's gentle encouragement walked beside him. His mother wished him a good day as he stepped outside. The morning air felt fresh and cool. Birds chirped from the nearby trees, and the sky held a soft golden color. When Sam reached the bus stop, a few students were already waiting. They talked about homework and sports. Sam listened quietly and smiled when someone spoke to him. He felt more patient than usual. He felt more aware of the small moments happening around him. Even the soft breeze brushing against his face felt meaningful. He knew the day would bring new chances to help others, just as the elderly lady's note had encouraged. The bus arrived with its usual gentle sound. Sam stepped inside and greeted the driver. The driver smiled warmly and asked if Sam was enjoying the bus pass the lady had arranged. Sam nodded happily. He felt grateful again. He took a seat near the window and watched the world pass by as the bus moved down the familiar roads dotted school. The day went smoothly. Sam answered questions in class with more confidence. He helped a younger student who had dropped books in the hallway. He shared his snacks with a classmate who had forgotten theirs. His actions were small, yet each one made him feel good. It felt as if he was continuing the chain of kindness that had begun on the bus. When the final bell rang, Sam walked to the bus stop near the school. Students gathered around, some talking loudly and some staring at their phones. Sam stood quietly near the edge of the crowd. He felt peaceful as he waited. When the bus arrived, he stepped on and greeted the driver again. The driver nodded kindly, as if he understood that Sam had had a good day. During the ride home, Sam sat near the front. He opened his bag to look at the note again, but he did not unfold it. He only touched it lightly as if he was greeting an old friend. The memory of the elderly lady felt stronger each time he held the note. He hoped he would see her again someday. He wanted to thank her in person for everything she had done and for the way she had inspired him. When Sam reached his stop, he stepped off the bus and walked down the quiet street that led to his home. The sun was beginning to set, filling the sky with gentle colors of pink and orange. Sam walked slowly, enjoying the calmness around him. He felt that the world had become more beautiful since he had received the note, or maybe he had simply begun to notice beauty more clearly. At home, his mother called out from the living room and asked him how school had gone. Sam smiled and told her that it had been a good day. He placed his bag on the table and sat down for a moment to rest. The peacefulness around him reminded him of the elderly lady's soft voice and thoughtful gaze. Later that evening, Sam heard a knock at the front door. His mother opened it and found the bus driver standing outside. The driver greeted her politely and asked if Sam was home. Sam came to the door with a surprised look on his face. He wondered why the driver had come to see him. The driver explained that he had something important to give. He reached into his pocket and pulled out another small piece of folded paper. It looked similar to the note the elderly lady had given him on the bus. Sam accepted the paper carefully. He felt his heart beat faster, wondering what it might be. The driver told Sam that the elderly lady had returned to the bus station earlier that day. She had spoken to him again and asked him to make sure Sam received this second note. She had told the driver that Sam would understand why the new message was important. After the driver shared this, he wished Sam a good evening and walked back to his bus parked nearby. Sam closed the door gently and walked to the living room. He sat on the sofa with the folded paper in his hand. His mother sat beside him, watching him with curiosity. Sam unfolded the note slowly. The handwriting looked the same as the first note. .com/neat. Patient. The message was simple but full of meaning. The elderly lady wrote that she had thought about Sam's kindness again after returning home. She wrote that she believed Sam had a very bright future because he understood something many people forget. She wrote that kindness can guide a person through difficult days. She wrote that the world becomes softer and more hopeful when people like Sam choose to care about others. She also wrote something new. She wrote that she had once been a school teacher. She had taught hundreds of students throughout her life. She had paused teaching many years ago because she grew older and needed more rest. But she always remembered the kindness she had received as a young woman on the bus long ago. She said she had spent her whole life encouraging her students to choose kindness. Now, after meeting Sam, she felt hopeful again. She believed that he would continue the message she had shared. That Sam felt his eyes grow warm with emotion. He read the note again and again. His mother placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. She told him that he must be very special for someone to care so deeply about him. Sam nodded slowly. He felt gratitude rising inside him like a steady flame. The lady's words touched him deeply, just as they had the day before. He folded the second note and placed it beside the first one in his bag. He felt as if he was carrying something precious and powerful. He felt as if the lady had given him not just messages but a responsibility. A responsibility to continue spreading kindness. A responsibility to make the world a little brighter in any small way he could. That night, Sam lay in bed thinking about everything. The lady's smile, her gentle eyes, the first note, the bus pass, the second note brought by the driver. All these moments connected in his mind like pieces of a warm puzzle. Sam realized that these moments would stay with him for a long time. He made a quiet promise to himself. He promised that he would be kind every day, not for rewards but because kindness created light in the world. He promised that he would share the lesson he had learned. He promised that he would always remember the elderly lady in the way she had shown him how powerful a simple act could be. As he closed his eyes, he felt peaceful and strong. The story that began with giving up a seat on the bus had turned into something much bigger. It had changed his day. It had changed his heart. And Sam knew that he would carry the message of kindness wherever life led him.